Man, great news. Just got an email back from iTunes. This show is available on iTunes. Search for Fat Dag. We'll call it Wise Advice from Fat Dag. That's what I'm going to kind of call it for now until I figure out something maybe a little better. But, we're just starting out. We're just going to try and figure this out and see what sticks. But if you go into iTunes, go into the App Store, into the iTunes store and search in the podcast section for Fat Dag. If you're listening, you've already found it, but go ahead and get subscribed so that the podcast shows up on your phone. Spread the word, let folks know we're out here, just kind of rooting y'all on and making sure that keeping your head in the game. This is all about keeping your head in the game, and that's kind of what I want to do to make sure that we all reach our goals together. So thanks for being here. I got a lot to talk about today. This one could run a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Got a great response when I said we're going to put some awards out here, and I want to talk about them. I got a couple questions I want to go and answer for you about lifetime and complacency, and then we'll do some celebration. But I want to start with my tracker review. I'm telling you, I'm on lifetime. I'm kind of managing the system here, trying to figure it all out, and I need a different level of accountability. I hopped on the scale this morning at 179.6. It was up just a tad from yesterday, but as you remember, yesterday was kind of a high point day for me. Ate a lot of my weeklies, so that was absolutely to be expected. Not a big deal. Today I put it in check. Today was a total of 33 points. 33 points is all I had last night for dinner. I had one daily left over. I get 34 for the day. I still have my 6 weeklies. That's going to carry me to Tuesday. So doing really good there. Fit points wise, probably about maybe I have to look exactly 5 or 6. Not a great fit point day. Earned 5 or 6 fit points. That's all I got. And moving on. So off to the scale in a little bit. Go see how today looks. But first, I want to just let you know that we are absolutely, as a community, we're changing lives. As we know, the power of Connect is just incredible. And so the fact that you're here and listening and we're celebrating together really brings me a lot of joy, to be quite honest. And I am very honored and proud to be able to do this. And it's kind of neat when I watch the show episode continue to get downloaded. Really makes me feel good that we are rewarding each other and helping each other and really building that sense of community that makes this whole program so special. So thanks for doing that. I want to give a couple shout outs here. Trisha out of Claremont, Florida. Trisha wrote in last night. Her and I chatted for quite a bit online. Bravo to her. She's just now getting started. She's on week 2. She's asking for some go-to snacks, and I'm a Quest bar guy, and good, bad, or indifferent. I like an RX bar, is pretty good as well. Those are kind of my go-to snacks. They're 4 and 7 points a piece. Other than that, there's not a whole. I'm a fruit and vegetable. I eat a lot of fruit. That's kind of my go-to snack, but we'll get those squared away, and we'll get that post out there and see what other folks see for go-to snacks. On the website, fatdag.com, click on 4 points. More 4 points. There's a whole list of about 69 pages of 4-point ideas and 4-point options. So go ahead and click that down. Don't print it. It's too big, but keep an eye on that. There's a lot of good suggestions in there, and all of those came from the Connect community. So that's very cool. So thanks, Trisha. I appreciate that. Out of Glassboro, New Jersey, Colleen wrote in last night. This was a great story. Colleen was switching from a morning weigh-in to an evening weigh-in, and had a couple meals in there, and was absolutely expecting the scale to not be so kind. We've been there, right? Everyone's been on that day where you just know the scale is not going to be your friend. But she went in there anyway. She hopped on, and the scale was completely level, which is perfect. Not a gain, not a loss, absolutely perfect. A lot of us folks who are managing this lifetime journey, we're trying to figure out how to make sure that happens every time we weigh in, is to just perfectly right at 0. So Colleen, great job for you. Super excited to see your journey continue to be successful. You're in the right mindset. The right mindset is doing really well for you. I could tell through the tone of your email that you're on fire. So thanks for writing in. Really appreciate that. Carrie out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, on March 4th hit lifetime. Did you hear that? Lifetime. That's right. So this is her 3rd time attempting Weight Watchers, and she says she's never going back. And, again, I can read sometimes when I see some of these, and you can kind of see the emotion. Think about it, Carrie, when you stepped on that scale and you hit your lifetime, you're done. You're done losing weight. It's a whole new process, right? It's a whole new journey of trying to figure out how to maintain this weight at this point on. But I mean, you've got to look phenomenal. You got to feel phenomenal. Man, here's what I want you to do. I really want you to take a moment. I want you to sit back and enjoy exactly what this feeling is right now. Because I tell you, the feeling slowly goes away. It takes a long time for it to go away, but the initial feeling, the really initial feeling of hopping on that scale and getting that lifetime key is incredible. Don't ever forget it. If you have to, journal. Today's a great day to journal those emotions, journal that feeling, and really soak in what it means to be at lifetime. Because I believe you when you say you're never going back. And I'm very happy to hear that. Good job. Out of Irving, Texas, Sonia writes in. Sonia says she got her 25-pound charm on March 16th. 25 pounds. Is that not incredible? At that point in your weight loss journey, when you are trying to lose weight and you get to a 25-pound loss, there ain't no way that's an accident. That just absolutely does not happen by accident. That is focus, that is hard work, and that is discipline. When you put those three things together, we're unstoppable. As a result, Sonia gets 25 pounds charmed on March 16th. And man, same thing, Sonia. Great job on you. Put that charm on your keychain. Celebrate. Carry it in your pocket. That's what I do. I keep mine with me most of the time. They're at least close by now. But when I was losing, I had them all the time. I just needed to constantly be reminded because this journey wasn't over for me. I wanted to keep going. I want to keep that momentum. So very proud of you for that. Out of Fulton, Texas, Denise writes in, and she's down 50 pounds, 50. On March 15th, she got a 50-pound charm. Man, that's got to feel great. It really does. You know, when you get down 50 pounds, same thing is that's the point where people start looking at you and they go, girl, what are you doing? Is there something? Did you get your hair cut? And you're like, yeah, maybe, something like that. But that's the point where people start taking notice. And it takes a long time for our friends and family who see us daily to recognize a weight loss. I would guess in average is probably between 30 to 50 pound range before people really start paying attention and noticing what you're doing. So Denise, good job on you for that. Super proud of you. You must look awesome. I'm sure you feel awesome. Same thing, celebrate that, tap into it, and you go there. And last but certainly not least, Allison wrote in. Allison out of Pennsylvania is down 10% on March 16th with her 10% charm. Another great victory to be down 10%. 10% is that point in your process, in your journey, where you've been on it long enough. You've been committed long enough. You've been focused long enough where you're getting results. You're getting real results. You don't do that by accident. So your focus, your dedication, your determination to make sure this happens earned you that 10%. That's kind of, in my thought and how I kind of looked at that, that was kind of that first big award where I'm like, I can do this. I've been doing it long enough where I can sustain this for a long time. I just can't give up. So Allison, great job on you for your 10% and all you guys and gals here. So super proud of you. Be glad to do these shout outs all the time. I think they're very important. Simply go over to fatdag.com, click on podcast, send me in your bravos, send me your awards, send me your lifetime achievements, and we'll work them into a Friday celebration every once in a while and see how much fun that is. So very cool. Good on you. Okay, now a couple questions we got. One of the questions came in and said, "Hey, Fat Dag, how do you manage a lifetime? Are you on plan, off plan, and do you struggle? And is there a challenge? And what are you eating? Because I never see you post photos. Help me out because I'm on Lifetime as well, and I'm struggling. I tell you, Lifetime is easy, and Lifetime is also hard. I see a lot of posts, and people say, "Oh, Lifetime's easy. Oh, Lifetime's hard." I agree with both. There are some days where being at Lifetime is a complete. It's a autopilot. Some days I'm right on autopilot with Lifetime. Other days I wake up and it's a struggle. So I agree that it's easy and I agree that it's hard. And here's what I want to say. This is why for me, this is my accountability is putting my numbers out there and putting my scale weight out there is because there are days where I'm a little bit off the plan. I regroup the next day. I don't ever live off the plan. I just kind of, every once in a while, things get out of control. Things go awry. I don't consider it a binge. I don't consider it a bad day. It's just an event came up that I didn't handle the best way I could have. I'm continually learning. I think that's the important piece. And I use the scale to kind of keep me in that range. But one of the things I want to talk about when you asked is what is it that I eat, and what is it, how come I don't post pictures of food often? And I tell you, the reason I do that is I don't believe this journey is entirely or even halfway about the food. I don't. I believe this is all about our habits, and I believe it's a lot of our choices that we make. You can eat really terrible and stay on plan and lose some weight. Now, there's some health benefits that you want to look out for. You don't want to do that, but it's not a food issue. This is not a food issue. This is a habit issue. So we've got to get the habits under control that make us choose bad choices and slowly start craving some healthier choices, and that's where we're going to go. So if you ask me what I had for breakfast today, I'm going to tell you I had 4. At lunch, I had 8. Dinner, I had 9, and I snacked on 12 for a total of 33. That's what I had for lunch or for dinner or for food today. I had 33. 33 out of 34. That's what I had. So if you want to be successful, do what I do. Stay on the plan. That's the way to do it. When you're out of points, stop eating points. I have 1 daily left for the day. It's going to go to bed with me. I'm not gonna use it, but moving on. Still have 6 weeklies that I'm going to carry in, but we talked about that already. So that's how I manage Lifetime. It's a whole different game. It's fun. It's enjoyable, but it's just as much work in a different capacity. So, and then the last conversation is kind of a doozy. I want to talk about complacency. Complacency is a part of this journey where a lot of us run into trouble. It's where I ran into trouble on the first 4 times I tried doing Weight Watchers. And I think it is the number one reason why most of us give up and we end up rejoining at some point. And what I mean by complacency is when we start this process, we start wanting to lose weight for a specific reason. We walk into a center, we join online, whatever it is that we do to start this process, and we don't feel all that great. We really don't, or at least I didn't for sure. You get a 10% charm. You get a 25-pound charm. You get a handful of bravos. You get some compliments. People telling you how good you look. You start feeling better. Your clothes fit better. And suddenly, you're feeling really good. All of those thoughts of how miserable it was and how much you hated it and how bad you looked, they all go away rather quickly. At least you're able to suppress them better because all the positive thoughts are coming in. But what happens is if we subside and we give in to that complacency, then suddenly we skip a meeting, we don't check in with our accountability partner, and we slowly drift off the plan because we think we've got it, we feel really good about it, and then we slowly creep up. So that's one of the things we've really have got to keep track of. Hey, when you're down 30 pounds, yeah, I'm doing great. You look great, but is that where you want to be? And I say this all the time is when I was hoping to get down to 199. I mean, that's all I ever wanted. I had no intentions of getting down to 179, but 199 was my dream. And when I got there, I felt amazing. I thought I looked great. I looked great at 199 compared to 263. So I don't want to be 199. I love my body size right now at 179, but I never would have gotten here if I gave in to the complacency. I just kept working the plan, and at some point I said, I am done losing weight, and that's when we declared my goal, and we moved into Lifetime, and we went from there. So beware of the complacency trap. It's out there. It's real, and I don't know how to tell you how to recognize it, but the way I would say is if you're going to live this journey for a long time, you set your attendance goal of making sure you're going to be in a meeting every day for the next 12 months. or every week for the next 12 months, or you're going to check in with your accountability partner online. Whatever you're going to do for a year, you stick with it. That's kind of you're kind of setting yourself up to beat the complacency monster, because you're not focused on the numbers. You're not focused on the scale. You're focused on the plan and following the plan and doing your best. That's how you win, by not giving up. If you stick with it, I promise you, you'll get the results that you're after. It may not be this week, it may not be next week, but I'm going to be here until you tell me you've gotten it. And when you do, I want you to head over to the website, tell me all about it, fatdag.com, click on podcast, tell me your celebrations, tell me what you want to talk about, and we'll do this all over again. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. I'm off to the scale.